David Smith of The Guardian, who joins us from the U.S. Capitol. So, yeah, the news changing as we speak with one package, it seems, or certainly an evacuation happening in Florida, where Congresswoman Deborah Wasserman Schultz, the former chair of the Democratic National Committee, appears to have been the target. One of the packages, according to the Secret Services, had her return address. So you put it together, David. You've got packages sent to Deborah Wasserman, packages sent to the Clintons and the Obamas, to George Soros. It's sort of a pantheon of who Trump supporters abhor.
Indeed. Just to add to that official reaction in the last few moments, Vice President Mike Pence tweeted, "We condemn the attempted attacks against former President Obama, the Clintons, CNN and others. These cowardly actions are despicable and have no place in this country. Grateful for the swift response of Secret Service." And then Donald Trump himself retweeted that with the comment, "I agree wholeheartedly!" exclamation mark. And one of the first response, or the first response to that, just from the Twitter sphere, was a lame tweet. Interesting, Donald Trump not taking the lead on the official White House commentary here. But to go back to your point, yes, I think the instant reaction from people watching this will be to join the dots, to see a pattern in terms of who Donald Trump most fiercely criticizes on Twitter and at his rallies. Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, Democrats such as Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and certainly George Soros has become a hate figure for the right and for many nationalists who support Donald Trump. I fear people may be consulting the list. Who else might be targeted in terms of Trump's targets, his perceived foes. It does. I think in the coming hours we are going to have questions over whether his incendiary rhetoric, which sometimes seems to encourage violence, may have led to this place.
And one of the points we'll be watching later on, David, will be Wisconsin, where Donald Trump is due to hold a campaign rally. We're less than 2 weeks from the midterm elections in the United States.
Yes, one of many rallies he's doing ahead of the midterm elections, and perhaps even more than during the presidential election in 2016. He's really being very pugnacious at these rallies, somewhat ferocious in his rhetoric, targeting people he doesn't like. Last week, he even praised a Republican congressman who was convicted of a crime of body slamming my colleague at The Guardian, Ben Jacobs, and Trump's praise for him was widely condemned. So it'll be fascinating tonight to see what tone he strikes, whether he begins by condemning these acts, or whether he just gives his usual act of really aggressively going after these critics and doing what many observers say is creating an atmosphere of us and them, of winners and losers, of political tribalism, which some would argue encourages these kinds of acts.
Is it worse than in 2016 right now?
That's hard to say for sure, because 2016, remember, certainly turned pretty ugly. And for example, there were those crowds chanting lock her up" about Hillary Clinton. There was even one rally I remember in 2016 where Trump hinted at assassinating his opponent, although he didn't say so in so many words. But certainly on issues such as immigration, a recent analysis found that he perhaps is being more brutal and more blunt this time in his rallies. He's certainly not been dialing down the rhetoric, you could put it that way.
David Smith, many thanks for joining